Now at 5, floodwaters shut down a northeast Oklahoma highway. The latest closures and why officials say this area floods again and again. And second graders in Carthage are diving into water safety, how a special YMCA class is helping them gain confidence and learn life-saving skills.
European leaders hold talks with Iran as they push for a diplomatic solution to the conflict with Israel. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on that push for diplomacy amid the escalating conflict in the Middle East.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Flooding forces a state highway to shut down near Miami. Drivers are urged to stay alert and avoid dangerous waters. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. Now, a warning for drivers traveling through northeast Oklahoma. State Highway 125 near State Highway 10 in Miami is closed in both directions due to flooding. Miami's Riverview Park is also underwater, an area that frequently experiences flooding because of ongoing issues with the Grand River Dam Authority. Motorists are reminded not to drive around barricades or enter high water. You can find the latest road conditions by clicking on the weather tab on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, the Fair Acres Family YMCA in Carthage hosts a class on water safety for local second graders. The class focuses on floating, swimming techniques, and water exposure. Kids went through 4 different stations, picking up new skills at each one.
I want them, number one, to know how to position their body so that they can keep their head above the water, or if they do submerge, that they have the muscle memory so that the submersion is not painful and they're not sucking a lot of water into their nose and then into their lungs.
Burton says incorporating fun into learning is a positive help for overcoming a fear of swimming. The Carthage YMCA will continue teaching classes throughout the summer season. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a hot one outside for us today. 91 was our high temperature, hottest we've been in 2025. 72 is where we started. 87 is our average high, so a smidge above where we should be. Not terrible, but yeah, a little bit up there. Could be an isolated storm during the evening hours in our southeastern counties. Everybody else looks pretty good. We're going to start mild or warm on Saturday as we go through the noon hour. I think most of us will be into the upper 80s, and the high temps very similar to today, about 90 or 91 degrees. Let's check out your Sunday. Plenty of sunshine again. High temperatures right around 90 or 91 degrees. A little bit on the windy side. Humidity is going to be up there. We'll look at the rest of the weekend and next week here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, Pittsburgh's 620 Day celebration inspired by the city's area code kicks off right now in downtown Pittsburgh. KOAM's Anthony Saviello joins us live from 2nd and Broadway for food trucks, family fun, and great deals at local businesses.
Boy, I tell you what, Tanya, it is a beautiful day out here in downtown Pittsburgh. We are just outside the Pritchett Pavilion celebrating 620 Day. Of course, there's over 70 plus vendors 620 Day falling on June 20th. 620, also Pittsburgh's area code. So plenty of reasons to celebrate today. If you don't have anything going on, come out here today. Things are going on until 8:30 p.m. And if you've been walking around downtown Pittsburgh for the day, many of the downtown businesses here have specials going on, discounts. If you're feeling a little frisky, the brick and mortar has $5 cocktails. So what's there not to love? It's a beautiful day today. There's a little bit of a breeze. Yes, it is hot. A little bit of a breeze helps out a little bit too. So if you don't have anything planned for today, come on downtown Pittsburgh for 620 Day. Tanya, back to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and do your best to stay hydrated and cool yourself, Anthony. Thank you. Well, amid the deepening conflict between Israel and Iran over Iran's nuclear program, President Trump takes part in a national security meeting at the White House today, while European leaders hold talks with an Iranian official in Geneva. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
President Trump departed the White House Friday, hours after taking part in a national security meeting about Iran.
Mr. President, how did your national security meeting go?
Mr. President, how are negotiations going?
It comes a day after the president left a door open to a diplomatic resolution to the intensifying conflict between Israel and Iran, saying he'll decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. will attack Iran's nuclear facilities. In a possible step towards diplomacy, Iran's foreign minister met with European leaders Friday in Switzerland, the first face-to-face talks since the fighting began.
Israeli attacks on nuclear facilities are grave war crimes.
The U.S. was not part of today's talks in Europe, but the U.K.'s foreign secretary said European representatives made it clear Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. He urged Iran to continue negotiations with the United States.
It is hugely important that we don't see regional escalation of this conflict.
Touring an area struck by an Iranian missile near Tel Aviv, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the war with Iran will last as long as it takes to achieve his country's goals.
Iran is the preeminent terrorist regime in the world. It must not, it cannot have nuclear weapons. That is the purpose of Israel's action.
Following Friday's talks in Geneva, Iran's foreign minister said his country supports the continuation of discussions. Earlier, he said Tehran would not negotiate unless Israel's aggression stops. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
It remains to be seen if the conversation in Geneva produced some indication of whether Iran is still open to direct talks with the U.S., not just the European nations, which is what U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff has also been trying to initiate through his own personal outreach. Well, still ahead, healthy senior workouts.
Going with the flow. I'm Cristian Benavides with a new type of yoga helping seniors' bodies and minds.
But first, in Health Watch, a new study finds a dangerous link between food insecurity and cancer survival. Why access to healthy meals could make a life or death. Topping today's Health Watch, cancer survivors may be more likely to die if they do not have access to healthy food. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found people experiencing food insecurity get less nutrients from fruit, vegetables, and dairy and are more likely to struggle with obesity, both of which increase the risk of dying from cancer. Around 40 million Americans are affected by food insecurity. And fitness trackers may not be as accurate as they claim. Scientists at Northwestern University say people with obesity have differences in their walking gait and speed, in the amount of calories they burn, which many fitness trackers cannot accurately measure. Researchers created a new algorithm which they say would let smartwatches accurately monitor the calories burned by people with obesity during physical activities. A new type of yoga could help seniors improve their physical and mental skills. Christian Benavides reports on the new approach that appears to be working.
This yoga class at the University of Miami is a test in both skill and memory. Frances Vega, who is in her 60s, was among the participants in a study looking at how a twist in traditional yoga could benefit older adults.
The program was an amazing program. Not only cognitive, but also my balance and my flexibility have improved greatly.
The new form of yoga is called Yoga Q. It relies on the participants' memory to perform poses.
It adds this cognitive component to yoga.
Brooke Fitzgerald is the yoga instructor. First, she teaches the class yoga poses, but instead of repeating the poses each time, she connects them to a cue.
We basically incorporate what are called flows, which are sequences of poses strung together, and then we'll add like a color name to it.
The participants then must recall the movement from memory. Dr. Joseph Signorelli at UM's Lab of Neuromuscular Research and Active Aging created the program with one of his PhD students.
They have to move their body in a series of individual poses, one after another, that matches the cue that they were just provided.
Think about what it's going to look like.
After just 6 months of yoga work, with classes 3 times a week, the study found a significant improvement in cognitive testing when compared to a control group.
The cognitive changes surprised us because the cognitive changes were so much better for the Yoga Q program.
For those like Vega, whose mother had some dementia before she passed away at 97, these classes are more than just exercise.
I think everyone's seen improvement in the strength and in the cognitive skills.
It's a workout for both body and mind. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
A group of older adults also found a community within each other, which can also help with senior isolation and loneliness. That's a look at today's health news. A little later, students at McDonald County High School are earning their PE credit in a unique way this summer.
And it's going to stay hot as we head into the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a hot Friday for us today. Most of us in that 90 to 93 degree range. Plus, we've had those heat indices up there throughout the afternoon. And what you see, this is what you're going to get as we head into the weekend. 88 Monette, 91 Anderson, 93 Veneta, 94 in Chanute. So very hot Friday evening, and it's humid as well. Our dew points up there. This measures how much moisture is in the atmosphere at the surface in a degree fashion. So you can see most of us about 75, which is pretty close to the top of this the chart here. So anything over 75, it makes it feel kind of soupiness across the region, giving us those heat indices way up there. It feels like 100 in Lamar, 103 in Commerce, 102 in Parsons. Feels like 105 in Yates Center. Through the evening, slow drop, actual temperature, 90s, 80s. We're only going to bottom out mid 70s later on tonight. A couple little random thunderstorms, central parts of Arkansas. Besides that, the entire Central Plains is mainly dominated by a big dome of high pressure. So when high pressure in the summer months, pretty close to us or on top of us, we stay high and dry across the region. That's what we should in general see as we go through the weekend. High pressure slowly pushes off toward the east. So here's Sunday, still looking pretty good. And then early next week, this high will slowly start to break down, but moisture on the backside will return from the Gulf of Mexico or America. And what that means for us is we will see hit, miss, pop-up thunderstorms during the afternoon. Most of the days are going to be fine. We're just going to have those hit and miss storms kind of getting going as we go through the afternoon. All right, let's go through time. Let's look at your weekend. We're only back down into the mid to upper 70s. 4 overnight lows. As we go through the morning, we warm, upper 80s by noon. Carbon copy of today, plenty of sunshine, most of us 90 to about 91 as we get into the afternoon. Saturday evening looks good. And then as we go into Sunday, we start mid to upper 70s once again. As we get into the afternoon, we warm near 90 degrees. So a great weekend to get outside, pools, lakes, creeks. Just remember, if you're going to the lake or creeks or streams, the water is still very high due to the high amounts of rain that we've had over the past couple months. Also, the winds are going to be kind of breezy. We'll have gusts 25 to 30 as we go into Saturday afternoon. And then again on Sunday, gusts 25 upwards to 30 miles per hour at times. 91, official high Saturday, 91 once again on Sunday, and our heat indices up there as well, near 100 once again as we get into Saturday afternoon. Maybe a smidge cooler. Humidity drops just a hair on Sunday. Heat indices about 95 degrees, but definitely a very hot weekend for us. So triple 91s over the next 3 days. Then we hang out upper 80s to near 90 degrees all next week. We are going to introduce those chances to get a few hit-miss thunderstorms each and every afternoon next week.
And most of those storms will be in the afternoons, you think?
Not a big deal.
Okay, well, while we're working, there you go. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, the students at McDonald County High School are blazing trails, both literally and figuratively, this summer with an unusual PE credit. Mountain biking. Students in grades 7 through 12 learn to be safe and proficient riders during class while traveling more than 300 miles across the 4 states. The school says it's one of the only summer classes of this kind in Southwest Missouri.
It's a skill that you can have for a lifetime. It doesn't matter if you trail ride, you ride on the road or around your neighborhood. You can use it for transportation, but it is something you'll have for life.
Well, students also use the class to prepare for the school's mountain biking team, which is offered during the school year. Coming up, get ready for packed roads and crowded airports. AAA says this year's Independence Day travel could break records. Topping today's Consumer Watch, some Americans are getting richer. A new report from investment bank UBS finds more than 379,000 Americans became millionaires for the first time in 2024. I was not one of them, far outpacing other nations in the world. The study credits robust stock market gains for the wealth boost, though still the wealth of the average American per adult is much lower than that, at around $312,000, according to UBS. Now, AAA says 72 million Americans are expected to make that great getaway this July 4th holiday, hitting record highs for drivers and flyers. Chris Van Cleve takes a look at the travel forecast.
For the Brannon family, the summer is time to travel, and they have several trips booked.
I'm the planner, and I plan way out. I think I'm getting a good price. I hope I am. But I'm getting to where I want to stay, too.
The Independence holiday travel stretch is expected to be the summer's busiest. AAA says the number of flyers will tick up more than 1% over last year's record rush.
The top 10 heaviest travel days in TSA history have all happened within the past year, and we expect to see more heavy volumes this summer.
At Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, customs officials say wait times are down 25% thanks to new enhanced passenger processing technology that uses facial recognition. It's now in use at 9 airports. And soon at DFW, Customs will be testing a program allowing it to review the X-ray images of checked bags coming in from London, so connecting passengers won't have to clear security a second time.
This program streamlines and improves the travel experience for our customers, saving them time and reducing the complexity of re-clearing security, all while continuing to maintain the highest security standards.
AAA expects most will drive over the 4th of July, a record of nearly 62 million, up 1.3 million from last year.
We're seeing travel in record numbers because you have to remember that travel isn't just an economic and practical decision. It's also an emotional decision. And what we're seeing is that people don't have to spend a lot of money when they go on these trips, but people want to get away and not be home.
Priceline says among the top summer destinations, Las Vegas, Orlando, Tokyo, and London. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Well, if you're planning to drive, AAA expects Wednesday, July 2nd and Sunday, July 6th to be the busiest days on the road. Final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, we take you to Columbus, Ohio, where drug overdose deaths are down. But one group on the front line says they're seeing more fentanyl use than ever. And then on KOAM News at 6, Pitt State announces its new president. Plus, it's common, easy to spot, and can even be in your backyard. How to avoid and treat poison ivy. And the Royals' top prospect, Jack Caglione, hits his first major home run. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Well, this morning, community members gathered for the Miami Regional Chamber's latest Business at Breakfast event. It took place at Montana Mike's Steakhouse in Miami. Today's focus, shaping the future of the Ottawa County justice system. District Attorney Douglas Pewitt and Ottawa County Sheriff David Dean shared updates from their offices, discussed future initiatives, and addressed community concerns.
What the sheriff and I do in terms of law enforcement impacts everybody in the district. And for business owners, particularly retail owners, they need to know what can be done, what we're doing, how we're trying to make progress.
The event also included a full breakfast and networking for local business owners and leaders. Probably good food there, Montana Mike's.
Sure there is, yeah.
Check the forecast.
Looks pretty good. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid as we go through the weekend. High temps 90 to about 91 degrees, but we are going to stay dry, so it's a good weekend to get outdoors. Hit and miss storms start to pop up next week.
Great evening to get out to Pittsburgh for 620 day today. All right, well, thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and we'll be back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.